Are you guys ready for the deepest, most insightful YouTube video you've ever seen? Well, good luck finding it because this isn't it. But I'm going to talk about some quotes that I like. Years ago, I had this little journal, and basically, I just wrote random things in it all the time, things that came to my mind, stuff like that. And I came across it the other day, and I thought it'd be fun to look at the quotes. There's a whole bunch of things in here, like my favorite animals, a timeline of my life, a letter to myself in the future. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But we're just going to read the quotes, and then there's like a few little like things of wisdom that I'll read too. And we're going to talk about them because why not? This looks so bougie. This looks like so like professional. This is like an actual like spot in my house, believe it or not. Like I didn't just like put this all together for this video. So yeah, we're going to get to the quotes now. So the first one is, when we hit our lowest point, we are open to the greatest change. That sounds great, doesn't it? It's from Avatar: The Last Airbender, the television show. And I think that's really true. I think being at your lowest point allows you a certain type of clarity and a certain ability to have a look at your life and go, what am I doing? Is this correct? Should I be changing it up? What should I be doing? So obviously, younger me, I think this is like 5 or 6 years ago, younger me knew what he was doing. The next one is, never get on the bad side of small-minded people who have a little authority. That is from Frank Adler in the movie Gifted. That's that Chris Evans movie where his like little niece is like a genius. And I think that's so true. I think there's that joke about the DMV and people at like a licensing and registration place. And if you get those people mad, they will make your life a living hell. So I just thought that that was a cute quote, and I still do. It's just another choice I didn't know I had to make. And I've written unknown for the source of this quote. So I think that's a good one. It's just another choice I didn't know I had to make. I think, yeah, we encounter many choices that we didn't realize were choices in our lives. And I think it can be a regret if you realize that you chose wrong, even when you didn't know you had to choose in the first place. So I like that. When I grow up, I want to be either an old boy or a young man. And I've written me as the source of this quote. So, okay, we're quoting me. I don't know why I thought that I was wise enough to like quote myself, but I don't know. I like it. I still like the idea of being an old boy. The idea of never truly giving up the things that I love, or I think there's a lot of wisdom in childhood, and I think children are free of a lot of the social constructs that we as adults place on ourselves and other people. And so I like the idea of being an old boy, because I think, like, you can't, the social constructs that we have created in our society, some of them are very important. Some of them keep us safe, some of them keep others safe, some of them just help us function in society. But some of them restrict us, some of them make us anxious, some of them put us in a box. And so I think that's interesting. A thing I'll say, old boy is often a translation for the name of Lao Tzu, the sort of spiritual founder of Taoism. And so I think that that's kind of funny that I wrote that before I even knew what Taoism was. So that's interesting. Nothing good happens after midnight. It's an old wives' tale I've written. I don't know the source of it. Sorry to the wives who told it. But yeah, I think there are a few good things that can happen after midnight, but most things that happen after midnight are probably self-destructive in some way. I've had a few events happen to me after midnight that I look back on with great joy and a lot of like affection, and I think I had like most of them are just like nights out dancing and stuff, and I look back at it as like a lot of fun. But there is a lot of truth in the fact that, you really should be asleep unless you work shift work, in which case, thank you for what you do and you keep our society running. Okay, next one. There are three universal qualities that people infer from a face: attractiveness, trustworthiness, and dominance. And I haven't written the source for that quote, so if you know where that quote comes from, let me know. But that's interesting. I think that has to do a lot with first impressions. And it's interesting that the three qualities are attractiveness, so how pretty someone is or how good looking someone is. Trustworthiness. You look at a face and you immediately think, oh, I could trust this person. I don't think I've ever thought that in my life. I don't know, maybe that's my neurodivergence talking, but I've never looked at a face and gone, oh yeah, I could trust them. I need to like know their character and who they are before I do that. And dominance, I think that's true. I think you can infer whether someone is quite a dominant person or quite like domineering based on their face. But is it a good judge of character? I don't know. We're told every day not to judge a book by its cover. So who knows? People used to be pagans and polytheists and believe in multiple gods. And then they started believing in one God. And they're getting nearer the true figure all the time. So that's Peter DeVries. This was back in my very like atheist days, clearly. I think it's a funny quote, the idea that like we used to believe in, or like some people still, like many people actually, still believe in multiple gods in a polytheist idea of the universe. But I like the idea of like, they're getting closer to the number every time. 0. This is what he's implying anyway. And that's quite funny. And clearly it shows that I was quite the atheist back in the day. There was a period of time in my late teens and early 20s where I very much rejected the idea of God, Christianity, all of that stuff. And today I am a practicing Taoist, first of all, very spiritual, very connected to the idea of the universe. I don't have like a God per se, but I think God is in everything in all places. And I'm not talking about like the Christian God or the Judaic God or the Islamic God. I'm talking about just like the essence of the universe. So now I'm like one of those annoying white people that's like very spiritual, but like in a very positive way, in a way in which I'm not super preachy about it. I just love where I am. I love the universe. I love everybody. And I think that's the way I want to be. But it's interesting that like I wrote down a quote from an atheist. He who becomes the teacher of a child for one day is the father of that child's lifetime. And that is an ancient Chinese proverb. That's what I've said there anyway, at least. And that's a good one too. I think these are actually pretty good. Yeah, I think, again, like we were saying, like children haven't been indoctrinated yet. And so we have the ability to educate children in a way that allows them to not have to deal with all the stuff we've dealt with. So those are some of the quotes. And then over here in 2020, okay, so that like judges this a little bit, dates this a little bit. I've written down some self-evaluation stuff. So I wrote down a bunch of stuff that like evaluates myself and things like that. And so on one of the topics for this self-evaluation, one of the topics is, what have I learned? And I've written 3 things. Family is the most important thing to me. And do I still think that? I think so, but I would preface it by saying family is the people that you choose to be family. They don't necessarily have to be blood relatives. My blood relatives, I love them all. Like I would take a bullet for all of them, and they are absolutely some of the people in my life that I would consider the most important. But I would preface that by saying sometimes you choose members to become part of your family, and those people are just as much family as anybody else. So yes, we're still on page here. The next one is, silence is 9 out of 10 times the best response. Yeah, I would agree with my younger self as well, because I think we always get in trouble for the things we say. You never seem to get in trouble for the things you don't say. You know what I mean? I think there is a lot of wisdom in the idea of keeping quiet, evaluating, and not saying anything. And to take this back to Taoism, there is very much a stream of consciousness or stream of thought in Taoism about not acting until you absolutely should, until you truly know your time to act. And so I would agree with that. Live life, reflect on it, live more, and remember. So yeah, just again, just a very wise little comment from little past Jack, younger Jack. Um, yeah, and I think that is pretty good. Live life, reflect on it, live more, and remember. It's pretty self-explanatory, honestly, which I think makes a good quote if it's very self-explanatory. Another one is, what is one thing I can do to improve my life? And I've said, spend more time living in the present than thinking about the past or future. And that is so true. I think we as humans spend so much time regretting the past and being anxious and anticipating the future that we miss the present. And if you can just find joy in the present of what you're doing, even if you're not doing anything particularly extraordinary, I think there's a lot of wisdom there. So props to past Jack, to younger Jacks. This is pretty good. I've written, what are things you always regret doing? And I think I wrote this in terms of, what are actions that you never have joy out of? You might have joy in the short term, but you look back on them and you're always like, I shouldn't have done that. And so I've said ordering pop or juice at restaurants. I'm very much a water person. I really like, I might have like a green tea or something like that, but I don't like pop, you know? I just am not my thing. Not my thing. So yeah, I get that. Still the same. Getting a dessert at a meal. Yeah, genuinely. I look back on all the different desserts I've had in my life, and while they're all awesome, I was usually like pretty full at the time. And I'm just like, did I need that? Did I need that really? So fast food, very much. I am a person who, if I can get out of it, I won't have fast food. I don't like it. It's usually like super greasy and my car smells. And yeah, it's been a while since I've had fast food, actually, to be honest. Reading the news and checking Facebook. I hate Facebook. I am not on Facebook anymore. Facebook is like one of those things that all the social media people are like, Jax, you gotta be on Facebook. But it's like, no, I hate Facebook. I don't like it. I think it's super catty. I think it's just gossip and talk and looking at people from high school who are 30 pounds heavier than they were before. See, I'm being gossipy. I'm talking about Facebook and I'm being gossipy. But I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And reading the news, yeah, I used to be one of these people that like thinks that like you got to stay informed. You got to check the news. You got to, keep up to date with important events. I don't think that anymore. I think like, if nuclear war happens tomorrow, it's like if I knew about it or if I don't know about it, it really doesn't matter. It's going to affect me the same way. It's not going to change how I'm doing it. And like my dad's an economist. And so like I kind of know how the economy's going vaguely across the world. But like like if the economy is going to collapse, like my dad will tell me, so it's like it's okay. I don't need to really care, and it's out of my control anyway. The economy is vastly larger than I could ever affect it. And the last one I've had here for my regrets is staying up late at night, which kind of goes back to that whole nothing good happens after midnight thing. Yeah, I don't know. I am a person that goes to bed at I get ready for bed at 7:30 in the evening, and I'm not even apologetic of that. Like I have a routine and a practice of which I slow down my day and I get ready for bed, and it's just beautiful, and it's one of the best parts of my day is just getting ready for bed. And I'm getting excited talking about going to bed. Like it's just so nice. It's just so nice. I swear I was born and I basically like 90-year-old man already, Then okay, we'll finish with this one because this is great. What are things you never regret doing? So things, actions and practices that I do that I always feel good about, and I always am left feeling content and fulfilled. So calling my grandparents, very much so. Always chatting with my grandparents. I love it. I FaceTime them regularly. I have 2 of them left as of last year. Rest in peace, beautiful grandparents, love you. But I have 2 grandparents left on this earth, and I love talking to them. They are very wise. I love them to bits. I love going to see them. Yes, absolutely, never regret that. Eating healthy, like duh, of course. Going to the gym. Yep, pretty much self-explanatory. And reading a book. Okay, so I never said that I wasn't vanilla. Like we knew that I was this vanilla boy, but that's pretty vanilla. But anyway, yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Reading a book, going to the gym. Yeah, okay. Thank you guys for watching this. I hope you enjoyed some of the quotes. I hope you found enlightenment in them. Maybe you got to know me a little bit better, but thank you for watching. I appreciate you if you're still here at 16 minutes in. I do that a lot. Yeah, sorry. Deal with it. I'm sorry. But yes, I love you guys lots. I hope you are having a beautiful day. If you're still watching, definitely write in the comments your favorite quote, the quote that you got tattooed on your chest, that you have tattooed in your heart, that you just love, and tell me where it's from, where you found it, if you wrote it yourself, and have a beautiful day. Just enjoy being here today, being present, and write a book, write a little note to yourself in the future and just say, hey, I hope you're doing well, and, send a letter to future you, because it's kind of fun reading stuff like this and going through it and being like, wow, yeah, he really liked the cassowary bird. That's what I listed as one of my favorite birds. So interesting. I love you guys, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.